Okay, this is my dissertation summary and critique, and we'll begin with the introduction of the dissertation I actually am summarizing here. It's called Improving High School Mathematics Instruction Using Constructivist Pedagogy. This is, as stated on the title page, an applied dissertation submitted to the Fischler School of Education and Human Services in partial fulfillment of the requirements for the degree of Doctor of Education at Nova Southeastern University, and this was done back in 2004 by Kimberly O'Neill. She is the Math Department Chair and has been a teacher for 7 years at the flagship School of Promise, and that is the school where the students in this study were from. This study is quantitative, although I will say there were four hypotheses or goals, as she stated them, or expected outcomes, and the last one does incorporate a little bit of qualitative, as she did interview some of the teachers involved to get their opinions about some things, but like I said, that's just the only bit of qualitative in there. This is an applied research study, as she stated herself. Her goal was to test the principles of constructivism, and she utilized collaborative learning in the case of peer tutoring, also computer-assisted instruction and cooperative learning groups. I will say, though, this is also action research in that her goal was to improve scores at her school. They had a problem with 11th and 12th graders passing the state-mandated test, as we'll see in just a moment. And this is also a quasi-experimental single-group pre-test, treatment, post-test style experiment. She only had one group. There was no control group involved. She did give a pre-test and then went through a 16-week treatment period, and then also gave a post-test for her experiment. So the research problem, as stated by her, the problem is to be solved in this applied dissertation is that 11th and 12th grade students perform below the state-mandated levels of proficiency and basic skills in mathematics on the state exit exam. So her goal was to improve that performance. So she proposed four key hypotheses, which she stated as expected outcomes of the study. First of all, scores from the state exit exam will indicate that there will be an improvement so that 10 of 47 students who are repeating the test did not meet the standard score in mathematics. In other words, only or no more than 10 out of the 47 would fail the test again. Secondly, scores from a basic skills in-class achievement test will indicate an improvement so that no more than 15% of the students will not meet the predetermined standard score in mathematics. This was what she used for her pre-test and post-test, not the exact same test, but similar tests. And one of her goals was that no more than 15% of the students wouldn't reach the required level of proficiency. Thirdly, classroom grades in mathematics of students who did not meet standards in the mathematics subtest will be at or above the 85% mark. Going into this study, all of the students involved had scores of 75% or lower. So this obviously is a very ambitious goal for the study. And then fourthly, informal interviews with teachers will indicate an improvement in student motivation that will positively affect student performance. Along with this was also included a questionnaire for students to try to quantitatively, using a Likert scale, determine whether this was taking place as well. So the informal interviews were not the only means of measuring this one. Now we'll look at our population and sample. As stated in the introduction, or actually in the abstract, this was a targeted convenience sample of students in the school who did not meet standards on the mathematics subtest after multiple attempts, did not meet the predetermined passing score on an in-class achievement test in mathematics, and obtained classroom grades in mathematics below the 75% mark. In addition, based on teacher observation, high school students did not demonstrate sufficient motivation to master grade-level basic skills concepts in mathematics. They began with 47 students. The final results only included 34 students. And I will say here that she did mention using a sample of 23 students. However, her mentioning of that only occurred once in the entire dissertation. I'm not sure. She had no indication of what that sample was made of. I will say the results that she gave for her questionnaire indicates that those 23 students gave the questionnaire or completed the questionnaire. So the extent to which that sample was used is very unclear. And now some variables. First of all, we had the dependent variables, their performance on the state exit exam using basic skills in mathematics, their grades in the remedial math class that they were taking, and also their motivation to achieve in math. And then the independent variables that she was going to use to try to impact those dependent variables were the collaborative learning, the peer-assisted instruction specifically, cooperative group learning, and also computer-assisted instruction, three components of a constructivist strategy. So getting into a research method, the study lasted 16 weeks. Week 1 consisted of pre-training the students in the types of constructivist activities they were going to take part in, so they knew somewhat how these things were supposed to go, how the activities were supposed to go. During that first week, she also got permission from parents and things like that, and from the principal to actually do the study. There was peer-assisted instruction every Tuesday. There were cooperative groups used once each month, so since it was a 16-week study, we can assume that that occurred 4 times. And then there was also computer-assisted instruction every Thursday in their lab, which they called the CCC lab, for their computer lab. Week 16 included a post-test and a student debriefing where she met with each student, and these meetings also occurred throughout the study. They ran biweekly reports on the CAI, and she would go through those results with the students, and also there were some other adjustments that we'll mention later that were made throughout the time. So her data collection methods. Initially, she used student records and scores on previous tests. And also the pre-test scores. And they used the subtests here for establishing the initial pairings and groups, because she wanted a heterogeneous mixture of subjects in each group. She wanted students who were weak in one subtest area to be matched up with someone who is strong in another subtest area. She used biweekly and final computer-assisted instruction reports, also class grades, post-test scores, And then, like I said, a number of the students, 34 students, did actually take the state exit exam during this time, so she used those scores as well. And then the self-made questionnaire. And we will look at the results in the next portion of the video.